skincaters! Welcome back to another episode of
Do's and Don'ts.
It's your host, Luisa.
And Iris.
Yay! So if you guys haven't checked out our last video on summer skincare, make sure to go check it out after this video.
So today's theme is about sunscreen. And we thought about why so many people hate to wear sunscreen or try to avoid the step. What do you think?
So for me, growing up, I always had very acne-prone skin.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it felt very heavy
Yes.
and greasy on my skin.
Especially under makeup.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I want to skip sunscreen because I'm going to be wearing like foundation, like bronzer and all that jazz.
Yeah, and it just makes it feel like my acne is gonna get worse.
Yeah.
Because my skin's gonna get clogged.
Yeah.
But do you think that skipping sunscreen to make acne better is a good idea?
Actually, I know some people with acne-prone skin are like, oh, it's gonna make my acne feel greasier, but your sebaceous glands are actually going to produce more sebum if you skip sunscreen, and it's going to worsen your acne, number one, and number two, it's going to cause pigmentation. You don't want that.
Right, we always hear about UV rays causing
yes.
dark spots, so sunscreen is a good way to protect that.
Yes, so we are going to tell you guys today all about sunscreen and all your do's and don'ts. And also, if you have any other skin concerns, make sure you search your skincare at WishTrend TV, subscribe to our WishTrend TV YouTube, and follow us on Instagram at WishTrend TV.
Don't number 1. Sunscreen ingredients you should be careful of. We will share 2 toxic chemical ingredients that you guys should know about, oxybenzone and octinoxid. So if you guys find these 2 ingredients in your chemical sunscreen, make sure to be careful, and we'll talk about the risks of these 2 ingredients.
So, what is oxybenzone? Oxybenzone is also referred to as benzophenone negative 3. It's a common chemical ingredient found in sunscreen and also lipstick and any anti-pigmentation products. Also scored 8 on EWG Skin Deep database, which is considered highly hazardous.
So what are the problems of oxybenzone? The EWG actually recommends us to avoid ingredients such as oxybenzone. However, more than 80% of sunscreens sold in the US have this ingredient.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
bad.
Because this ingredient is highly absorbent, it can actually cause allergies and hormone disruptions in people, so especially children have to be careful about this ingredient.
Ethylhexylmethoxycinnamate is also called as octinoxate, and it's a common ingredient found in sunscreen. It scored 6 on the EWG hazard score, and it's lower than oxybenzone. However, it may still disrupt hormones and cause irritation to sensitive skin.
So another reason why we should actually avoid these 2 ingredients is because it causes a lot of marine pollution. And I actually learned about this before because right now in the marine world, a lot of the coral reefs are dying down, and it really messes up the ecosystems in the oceans. When we wear sunscreen with these types of ingredients, it can release into the ocean and it can kill off the coral reefs.
I actually heard in May 2017 in Hawaii, they actually started banning
Right.
sunscreen with these ingredients, which is really good. It's for preserving their marine ecosystem. So I feel like we should start paying attention to the ingredients in our sunscreen for not only the marine ecosystem, but our skin, obviously.
Right. If it's this bad for
Yeah.
coral reefs, like I
Just
don't know what it's
disc.
gonna be for our skin, you know. As reference, the Klairs UV Essence contains these ingredients as alternatives, and let me read it to you guys below. The first one is ethylhexyl triazone, and the second one is diethylamino hydroxylbenzoyl hexyl benzoate. So that's a really hard one, but these are alternative ingredients to the ingredients we mentioned above.
Don't number 2. Don't apply nano sunsprays. Physical sunscreens also have ingredients we should be careful of and pay attention, and those are nano sunsprays. This can be also known as powdered sunsprays or powdered sun powder, some people refer to, but these contain nanoparticles, so you should stay away from them.
Right. So they're easier to use, but not very good for our
Your skin, no.
So let's go over what exactly nano means. Physical sunscreens are divided into 2 categories, nano and non-nano. The sunscreens that we usually try to avoid are non-nano physical sunscreens because they leave that white chalky film on our skin that we all try to avoid. So in order to improve the situation, nano physical sunscreens were developed. However, they're very problematic for our skin.
So avoid nanoparticles. Nanoparticles in sun sprays and sun powders are very hazardous to your lungs when they are inhaled. No, you don't want that. And EWG also discourages the use of nanoparticles in sun sprays and sun powders because obviously we have to care for our lungs.
Right.
That's,
Our health is important.
Yes, that's more important than your skin, guys. Lung safety. And also, for those wishtenders living in Europe, bans the use of nanoparticles in sun sprays and sun powders, so lucky you guys.
White cast isn't always avoidable. As much as we hate it, sometimes those kinds of sunscreens are better for our skin. Rather than wearing chemical sunscreens that are nano and don't leave that white cast, endure a little white cast for safer and healthier skin. The reason why sunscreen leaves that white cast is because it's essentially from grounded rocks. So if you put it on your skin, it's not going to absorb. But if you pat it in carefully, then it increases the absorption rate.
Don't number 3. Don't mix sunscreen with other products. Many of you guys use cushions, foundations, makeup bases or primers with SPF in it, and this is the most common mistake you guys make because some people might be like, I already have SPF in my foundation, so I'm going to skip the sunscreen, but you can't do that because of course it's going to be helpful if you have SPF in your makeup products, but that doesn't work as a substitute for sunscreen. No.
Right, I'm also guilty about this as well. We think,
Tis.
SPF, no need for sunscreen, but it's always good to have that separately.
Yes, because, and here's the reason why, the anti-UV rays that are inside your makeup products like primers, makeup bases, foundations, and cushions are very low in content, so they all have different grades of the protection, which isn't going to be effective on actually blocking out the sun. So what you want to do is actually stick to your moderate amount of sunscreen. Sunscreen, not SPF in your foundation, but actual sunscreen. And also, if you're planning to be staying outdoors for a long time, we recommend you use a sun cushion to reapply during the day.
We also make other mistakes when it comes to sunscreen, such as mixing other products with our sunscreen, which I also did before as well, such as mixing foundation, BB cream, or moisturizer with our SPF. So although doing this does make the texture lighter and it improves the spreadability, it actually lowers the sun protection function, so we don't recommend you to do this. The second mistake that we always do is mixing chemical and physical sunscreens together. It's better to just use one type because some ingredients in both of these sunscreens can contradict each other and they can actually irritate our skin even more. Do number 1, vitamin D. So we always grow up hearing sunlight is bad, sun is very bad for your skin, UV rays are bad, but sunlight does have a sterilizing effect on our skin, which can be good for it. Researchers are now actually establishing a link between vitamin D deficiency and acne. So getting your vitamin D is super important to improve your acne as well. However, they also realize that just vitamin D treatment isn't enough. It's good for just assisting products.
The major cause of vitamin D deficiency is a lack of sunlight. And this time I'm guilty because I hate going outdoors.
Really?
Yes, I hate it. And I know a lot of people hate going outdoors too because it's the sun. Like, why go outdoors when you can stay indoors? And sadly, the fastest, most easiest solution of vitamin D deficiency is actually going out in the sunlight. But if you're exposed to the sunlight for too long, you're going to lose more things than gain. For example, you're going to get skin aging, you're going to get burnt, and it can also cause skin cancer. Believe it or not. So we recommend you guys that you go out to the sun and expose your arms and legs for 15 to 20 minutes to the sun. That's not bad. 15 to 20, I think I can cope with that.
Right. I'm a Cali girl, so
oh yeah, I mean,
don't have
who
this
am I
problem,
talking to? But yeah, for those of you guys who are like Iris, who are like me, and you guys don't want to go outside, just try 15 to 20 minutes a day. And if not, there are still ways of eating your vitamin D supplements, but we still recommend you go outside. Do number 2, thoroughly cleanse after sunscreen. Sunscreens are hard to remove, just like makeup, so you really need to pay attention to your cleansing parts. If you're only going to use water, it's not going to work because sunscreen, as we mentioned so many times earlier, contains chemicals. So you have to use other products that are going to help you thoroughly cleanse that sunscreen off of your face with no residue. Especially zinc dioxide and titanium dioxide are very common chemical ingredients. Chemical, that's the word. Chemical ingredients found in sunscreen, and these are actually found on rocks. So they can clog your pores. So please pay attention to cleansing thoroughly.
So because we don't want any leftover residue, it's
no.
extremely important to double cleanse.
Double cleanse.
We recommend you guys to first cleanse your face softly with a cleansing oil or water, and then go in again and wash with a low pH cleanser. Do number 3, keep the expiration date. So if you guys have sunscreens from several different brands, make sure to check that the expiration date hasn't passed.
And I believe some people are like, hey, I only use sunscreen in the summer. Oh, there's leftover in the bottle. Let's save it for next year. I hope none of you wish tenders are doing this because we have trust in you. We believe you guys. But if you are like this, please wear sunscreen every day that you're going to go outside, or just even if you're inside, because we
Right.
still are exposed to UV rays, right? So please wear sunscreen every day.
Even if it's raining, even if
Yes,
you're inside,
yes.
always make sure to have that sunscreen on because UV rays can really penetrate through anything. So make sure to keep yourself sunscreened.
Sunscreened.
Normally, the expiration date for sunscreen is about 1 year, but if you haven't opened the sunscreen, then you can also use it for up to 2 years. However, make sure that once you open it, only use it for 1 year after that.
Yes, and if your sunscreen passes the expiration date, then it can cause rashes on your skin. And especially if you have sensitive skin, you're going to start blushing and I don't know, all those skin problems that we don't want. And also, gradually, the content of the sunscreen is going to start to oxidize. So the function of sun protection is going to decrease.
So today we learned about the 6 do's and don'ts about sunscreen. How did we do?
Great! Yay!
Make sure to leave your comments below.
And like what Luisa said, if you have any questions, tell us down below so we can read all your questions and answer them for you in further videos. And if you have any skin concerns, make sure you search your skincare at Western TV. Now, until next time, bye guys!